Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Excuse me. Okay, so welcome. We'll be up and running now in a couple of seconds. Just bear with me now. Nearly there. Hi, Annette. How are you doing? Okay. So we're just waiting on our guest to click in here. Hopefully, you're going to enjoy this now. It's the first time I've done this, so bear with me if anything goes wrong. Anne Campbell. Hi, Anne. How are you? No, Claudia, you're not late. Not at all. No. Okay, Katie, I see what you're saying. Bit echoey. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit. I think I'm going to have to work this through a desk, but I'm not going to be singing myself, so we'll not worry about that too much for now. Hopefully, Ciaran is on his way in here. Right, so just to let you know what I'm doing tonight. We've got a guest. I hope he can make his way in with the link that I've sent him. It's Mr. Ciaran Warfield from Dublin. He'll be joining us soon. And I'm just looking here. I've got a message through. My computer has just started an update. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I'm just going to ask him how long these things happen. Yeah, so Ciaran is here. Well, you probably can't see that now. There's a bit of a reflection there, but hopefully this won't take too long now. So right, the plan for the night is that I'm going to get Ciaran in here when his computer has updated for probably a chat for about half an hour, 40 minutes, where we're going to just talk all things music and Ireland, and hopefully he's going to play a few tunes for us too. And once that's finished, I'm going to come out of here, out of this kind of TV setup, and go back to the traditional manner, if you like, just streaming off my own phone. And I'll do a second show then, which will just be the normal gig that we like to throw out there. So yeah, just waiting on Ciaran. Any crack out there? Claudia, is it snowing in Austria? Let me know. Patrick Gallagher is in. Hi, Brendan, everyone. Hi, Patrick. Again, what's the weather like up in Belfast? I've been watching the news there now just before I came on, and it doesn't look good out there now, to be honest with you. I'm lucky I live in Mayo. Ciaran's just come back to say 3 or 4 minutes, so we can manage that. That won't be a problem. I'll waffle on here. Yeah. No, Claudia, you're not late. I promise you, we're only just getting started here. Kyle Clark, have a great show. Well, Kyle, thanks very much. Kyle's a great supporter over there in America. Kyle, send us some pictures of your weather too. Why not? Anne Campbell, she's in chatting to Patrick. Marty Aggie. Marty, I haven't seen you here for a couple of weeks. Hope everything's okay up there in, where are you? Andersonstown, isn't it? I think. So best wishes to everybody up there, and I hope you're all keeping well. Maria Wilkinson is in. Maria, how are you? You like the setup, Patrick? Well, watch this, Patrick. This is cool, because I'm going to put your comment up on the screen here. There you go. So people can now see that I'm not actually bullshitting them. And then Patrick says, look, hi, Anne. Martin Flannery, Marcin O'Flannery in Ballycastle. It is snowing in Ballycastle. Oh, Jesus, that's desperate. Marcin, congratulations, by the way. Marcin's one of our star referees here in North Mayo, and he won an award there a couple of weeks ago for Referee of the Year, which is great because I'm no longer involved in managing football teams. And there was a few games where Marcin was he wasn't even the manager of the day, if you like. Mary Rankin's in. Hi, Brendan from Melbourne. Oh, wow. Melbourne, Australia. Mary, what time is it there? That's great. Thank you. My mammy's in. Watch this. Yeah, here she comes. Hi, Brendan. Yeah. Kyle Clark has a message for everybody. Kyle's in Florida. It's shitty and it's cold. Oh, well. And Anne Campbell, what are you saying? Snowed out here in Airdrie, Scotland. Yes. Airdrie is a special place for us. That's where my granddad was born. So, look, a bit about Ciaran, I suppose. Ciaran is the son of Brian Warfield, who you'll all have heard of. I know that. From the Wolf Tones. His uncle would be Derek, also formerly of the Wolf Tones. And, you know, as big a family in Irish music, especially in the folk and rebel scene, as you could ever get, let's be honest about it. Up there, I suppose, the only family I can compare to them would be I was going to say the Blacks, Mary Black, but the O'Reillys. Mary Black, her son Danny, who's in the Coronas, and her beautiful daughter Roisin, who's also a massive performer in her own right. And then they've got their sister, Mary's sister, and her niece, isn't it, Aoife Scott? Yeah. So this family is the same lineage, if you like, and pedigree as far as I'm concerned. What else would we say? Mary Rankin. Oh God Almighty, you're up early, girl. 7:35 on a Friday, and it's roasting here. Mary, could you get the fans out and blow some warm air up here towards us, because we're absolutely freezing it out now at the moment. Marty's just chatting my mother up there. Good man, Marty. And Martin is very grateful. He says, look at this for a comment. Oh my God. And that's a relief. You've retired from management. You might take up the whistle yourself. Marcin, not if my life depended on it, to be honest with you. I think it's one of the hardest jobs in the world, a job that you don't really get paid for. And I admire anybody who actually does get out there and takes that role up, because I couldn't do it. I wouldn't be able. Kyle is in NY, right? Sorry, New York. Sorry, Kyle. So yeah, you're having a hard time of it too. I know that. Oh, this is great. I can show everybody the banter that's going on. Watch that Marty boy. Watch that Marty boy is right. Brendan Farrell is 6'3" and ready to rock. I think I've got a message coming through here. I hope I have. Yes, there he is. So I'm going to try to bring in Ciaran Warfield. Hiya, Ciaran.
Hiya, Brendan. Can you hear me?
I can indeed, yeah, loud and clear. Thank you for joining us. Are you okay there?
It's typical. As soon as I get ready, I've been messing around with my computer all day. As soon as I'm coming on to you, it starts updating itself, and now my desk is frozen out, so I have to go find headphones, which was
Jesus. Well, to be honest with you, you're probably better off with the headphones, and I think it gives a bit of a clearer sound. So I did a little bit of an intro for you there while we were waiting for you to come on. Just talking about your, I suppose, your peerage, your lineage, your family history in music. And I've been listening to a lot of your stuff. I went in there actually as well just this evening and had a look on Reverb Nation. Your band, is it Caltapra? Can you say that for me? Pronounce it?
It's called Catalpa.
Calcatalpa, what a great name. That sounds like a kind of dance. It's like, that's really good. So where does the name... Yeah, where does the name come from, Ciaran?
You know, it comes from there's actually a tree that's indigenous to Canada and the east coast of up around Massachusetts, and it's called the catalpa tree. And they used it in a lot of whaling ships. And there was a ship from Massachusetts called the Catalpa, and the John Devoy of the IRB, the Fenian Brotherhood, he organized a boat called the Catalpa to go down from Massachusetts, and it was all American crew, to go down and go to Perth, just outside Perth, Fremantle, and rescued the last 6 Fenian prisoners that were in the English jail down there called the Establishment.
Oh wow, that's when was that? That was 1800s, was it?
I think it was around 1878 or something like that, or late 1800s. But unheard of for a whaling ship to make that type of journey, like, you know, because they only went whaling off the Antarctic and around there, like, you know, really from that. But for it to make its way the whole way around the world, and then for the, you know, with the being obviously no internet or no telephones back then, like to get out all the ducks in a row just so that they'd be able to get the prisoners out of the jail and then onto the boat. It was great.
Amazing.
It's a great story. It's on. You'll find it on YouTube. It's actually RTE did a great documentary on it. If you look it up, the Catalpa.
I will.
You see it. Well worth a watch.
Very good, Ciaran. All right, we've actually got somebody in from Australia looking at you here. It's Mary Rankin. She's down in Melbourne. So you might say hello to Mary there before we get into the business here now. You know, it's.
How are you, Mary? I hope you're all keeping well down in Australia. You're the lucky ones that don't have as much COVID as we have up here.
Absolutely, they've done a good job there. In fairness, between Australia and New Zealand, and hopefully we'll get our act together soon as well. So tell me, I see you wearing a Dublin jersey on a lot of your posts, and thank you very much for last night's video that you shared. You did a version of one of my songs. It was the Ballad of Tomas McCurtain, and I got messages during the day today, just really people saying thank you and loving it, you know. But I believe you're a Wicklow man, is that right?
Well, no, I was born and bred in Dublin,
right,
in Lucan, and then we moved out to Wicklow when I was around 10 years of age, but very close to the Dublin border. In fairness, we were about not even a half mile from the Dublin border, up there on the Blessing Road, heading towards just after Bridget's.
Yeah, but as they say, it's about a half a mile away from 6 in a row. Isn't that true? You know, down in Mayo, we're a lot further away. And God, we have been trying. So you like your GAA, do you, Ciaran?
I love it, yeah. My dad's been bringing me since I was a kid. I think the first All Ireland final I was ever at wasn't a great introduction. It was the time that Kerry trounced Dublin. It was the time that I think it was it Mickey Spillane that chipped Paddy Cullen. And I got absolutely soaked that day. And I don't know whether you remember, but you remember the blue paper mache hats?
I do, yeah, with the dye running down your neck. Yeah,
I had blue dye in my eyes all the way back. And we'd only moved up to British at that time, and I had to get a bus home. And my dad was going drinking with the Dublin team afterwards, so he just threw me on a bus at Bachelor's Walk there in Dublin. I'd never been on a bus going out to, I think I was 9 years of age. I just threw me on the bus. I'll make your way home. You wouldn't get away with it today.
No, bleeding deadly, as they say, bleeding deadly. Yeah. So come here. I don't suppose, just to start things off, you might have an old Dublin song that you could throw out for us, just to get things rolling. I'm planning on maybe about 40 minutes here, if you have the time.
Yeah, I could do a Dublin song. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. Thanks, Ciaran. Thank you very much.
The Phelan would do a lot of our. Phelan has obviously been the other band member, like so he would do a lot of the Dublin stuff. So bear with me.
No bother at all. Mary's just in there saying hi, Ciaran. How you doing? That's the lady down in Melbourne. So that's great. I just want to say before Ciaran starts, obviously this is my first time doing this, and we're a bit new to the technology here. So if anything happens where things freeze or stop or shut down, just bear with the page for a couple of minutes, and I'll reboot and get back in again. I'm praying to God that we get the 40 minutes out of here with no hitches. But you know, if we do, I know you're a very patient bunch. And like I say, once we finish this broadcast, I'll be coming off here and I'll be going back live myself as usual. So, yeah, Ciaran, what song are you going to do for us to start?
The rare old times it has to be.
I love it. You should dedicate this to a great man in Clella called Tom Hogan. It's one of his favourites. He's a dub, blue, born and bred, but he's ended up living in Mayo for the last 20 years. So he actually hangs a Mayo flag outside his house. And then after Dublin win, the Dublin one comes out and it goes a little bit higher, you know.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, I dedicate that. Racing songs and stories, heroes of renown, and passing tales of glory that once was Dublin town. Hollowed halls and houses, haunting children's rhymes, that once was part of Dublin in the rare old time. Ring a rosy, as the light declines, I remember Dublin city in the rare old times. Oh, me name, it is Sean Dempsey, Dublin as can be, born hard and raised in Pimlico, in a house that ceased to be. By trade I was a cooper, lost out to redundancy, like my house that fell to progress, my trade's a memory. Well, I courted Peggy Dignan, as pretty as you please, a rogue, a child of Mary from the rebel liberties. Lost her to a student chap, skin as black as coal, as he took her off to Birmingham, he took away my soul. Ring a rosy, as the light declines, I remember Dublin city in the rare old times. Now the years have made me bitter, gargles dim me brain, and Dublin keeps on changing and nothing stays the same. The pillar and the Met have gone, the Royal long since pulled down, as the grey unyielding concrete makes the city of my town. Ring a rosy, as the light declines, I remember Dublin city in the rare old time. Very well, sweet Anna Liffey, I can no longer stay and watch the green glass cages spring up along the quay. My mind's too full of memories, too old to hear new chimes. I'm a part of what was Dublin in the rare old time. Ring a rosy, as the light declines, I remember Dublin city in the rare old time. I remember Dublin city in the rare old time.
Oh, yeah. Yes, one of the classics. Now, it's a song I do a lot myself, actually, Ciaran, and it always makes me think about that kind of era, the 50s and the 60s. I suppose a time when your dad would have been coming of age and just getting motoring, same for my own father's story. And Dublin is a very different place now, obviously. What's your earliest memories of Dublin? I mean, real Dublin, the street life.
Well, my earliest memory, I suppose, my abiding memory would be the old buses, where you used to jump on the back.
Yeah.
The old, and well, I never got to see him or meet him, but Bang Bang used to jump on and off them. But I suppose we used to get brought to the Phoenix Park quite a lot because we lived out in Lucan, so that would have been quite close to it. So we used to go treasure hunting on the. Life was a lot simpler back there, You didn't need PlayStations or anything like that. You would have just throw a few coins and a bit of tinfoil around the Phoenix Park, and you'd be delighted with yourself.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, I tell you, we've got a character living down here, actually just 2 miles from my house. A fella called Ray Dungan, who also came from Dublin. We were at a funeral of another great Dublin man it was last year, the year before, Martin Kavanagh, who I knew very well. And after the funeral, Ray was telling me about Bang Bang Shoots the Buses and the Golden Key. Now, it's a song I know, but I never actually spoke to somebody realizing that it was a real character, right?
Yeah.
And then he started talking about 40 Coats. Did you ever come across him?
No, I never came across. 40 Coats would have been of a lot older. That would have been back in the 1700s, I believe. 40 Coats.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I think there was another guy though, some sort of a fella who was a street liver. Maybe it was a nickname they put on him or whatever. But it just sounded like a great place to be. That Dublin 60s, 50s vibe, the Dubliners and all that. Can I ask you something about, I suppose, your childhood? Obviously, being the son of Brian and somebody who was, at a time when people didn't really travel. I presume your father and your uncle and everybody was traveling the world. What was that like to you? Was it normal, or did you realize there was something special about it?
Well, we didn't travel with him as such. My dad would have been gone probably, Jesus, I'd say maybe 8 months of the year. You wouldn't see him, and it was only during the summer when they used to do. So summer, they would on the Monday they'd be in the Old Sheeling, which is over on the north side of Dublin. On the Tuesday they'd be in the Wexford Inn, which is in the centre of Dublin. On Wednesday they would have been in Chockfurbo in Spiddle. I don't know whether you know, that's now the Connemara Coast Hotel. On a Thursday they'd be in the Glen Eagle. On a Friday they'd be in the 2 Mile Inn in Limerick, and then Saturday or Sunday could be anywhere. So we used to have to travel around from Wednesday to Sunday, wherever they were going. We'd be brought around, but we thought it was a big adventure for us, because we used to also work at the gigs, we used to sell CD or not CDs back then, but tapes and LPs, and we used to get a percentage of the cut.
Good man, Ciaran. So that's where you made your money, right?
I don't know. It was well spelt on computer games. I used to love playing computer games when I traveled around. The likes of Pac-Man and stuff like that.
Yeah. So is that the Glen Eagle? That's Killarney, is that right?
Yeah, that's Killarney. Every Thursday night during the summer, they used to do, I think, about maybe 9 or 10 gigs per summer. And the same with the 2 Mile Inn, the same with Chockfurbo.
Yeah, that's amazing. I like I say, I was reading about you, and I was kind of understanding your not so much your background, but more about you. And I suppose my own story is that I came very late to music. My father used to be a gigging musician, as well as a factory worker, factory manager back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
I always sang, but I never really had the patience to pick up the guitar. So I only started really when I was about, I think it was 25 years of age when I got going. I got some advice off a guy. He said, if you want to play the guitar, spend as much money as you can on your first guitar, make it a really good one, and then you've invested in it and you won't walk past it. And then I was reading about you. You only really started yourself, 2002, is that correct?
Well, playing music, beforehand, my father was always tried to push us into music, and I think I sort of was always a bit of a rebel and didn't like to be told what to do. So the piano lessons, no. Accordion lessons, no. It was only when I went to college. I was down in Carlow, and I used to go to parties, and the lad with the guitar used to always get the women, and I was like, "There's something in that. I think I need to pick up the guitar." So I started.
You're
Picking
not
up.
going to believe this, but I also went to college in Carlow.
Did you?
Scraggs Alley, and where else were we? Oh God, yeah, I did. Well, I was an apprentice, but that's where my formative adventures outside of the house occurred. So yeah, great place. That's interesting. No,
I was ENS officer down there for the second year.
Good man.
Ruined my college career.
Yeah, but it made you a musician, which is far more important, Ciaran. That's great. Come here. Do you do a bit of writing yourself then?
Yeah, I've written at this moment now. I'm writing lots of songs. I'm not saying they're all great, but I suppose one in probably 9 or 10 songs ends up being a good song. One in 10 would end up in the bin, or 2 in 10 probably end up in the bin, like, you know, or shelved. But no, I enjoy it. But I have to have a passion about it. You know, it has to be something that I'm passionate about. Like, you know.
Yeah, I understand that. Like, this page is called the Writer's Block. Like, I have often told this story to the people that follow me. I'm lucky now the people that have started coming in are sticking, and it's great. Really appreciate them. But I've probably written about 800 songs, and most of them, I always say, never get off the page or into the room that I'm in, never mind out there. And it does take a particular moment to hit the one that, you know, right, yeah, I'm keeping that one. That one is for everyone. I'm just wondering, have you got one in mind that you might be able to dish out for us right now? Just treat the audience here now to something that they haven't heard before.
Right. Well, I've one here, and I wrote this recently because I was we were over in Glasgow, or playing a gig over in Glasgow, and we ended up we got a gig out in Greenock, and I'd never been out in Greenock, and I never knew anything about it. But Greenock would have been the original place where people from the famine got off the ship to go to Glasgow or Edinburgh, because the Clyde wasn't very deep at the time, so they used to get off at Greenock. So, and having talked to people there, and the amount of Irish people that had background in Greenock, I decided to write a song about the Glasgow Irish. I go up to Celtic quite a bit as well, you know, to watch the football.
Come on, the hoops.
And I love gigging over there. So I just said I'd write a song about the Glasgow Irish, like, you know. So that's what I did.
Okay.
So
can I just before you start the song, can I just mention somebody who is on air here watching you? So Ciaran, that's Fiona Galt. She is in Dunoon, which is over on the Argyll Peninsula, but she grew up in Port Glasgow, which isn't very far from the place that you're talking about.
right.
So hello to Fiona. Fiona's a radio DJ over there. She does a community radio show every Wednesday and Friday, and she's always looking for new Irish music. So maybe after this, you might be able to send her something to play on her show, which would be amazing. And then also, I suppose, just to mention from my own point of view, like, I do spend a lot of time engaging with the Scottish audience. My own grandfather was born over there. He wasn't quite the famine or the Garta Moor, but later on, people were still going to those places to do the old tatey picking and getting into the rope making factories and the yards. So there's three things we have in common: a passion for Celtic. You know, this year mightn't be the year, but who knows? No. It's not over yet. I personally, if we won the cup, I'd take 6 in a row. It's never been done, and we've already got the 12. So, okay, I'm going to stop talking now and let Ciaran at this song. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Thank you very much, Ciaran.
I see Fiona's born in Greenock.
Aha! We're paying attention.
On that river they call the Clyde, whoa, Irish immigrants came on a hungry tide. Yeah, Greenock thousands landed on the quay. From the hunger and the poor house they did flee. Irish people drew across the seas, whoa. Some to Scotland sought sanctuary, yeah. left behind their homes in poverty. The famine had taken all but their identity. Of Glasgow, our home, across the seas. Glasgow, a life of sanctuary, with a hunger in our bellies and a spirit to be free. Glasgow, I am you, and you are me. In the East End tenements and slums, whoa, fought to live so that they'd overcome. Yeah, discriminated by the language and by faith. Never understood why they faced so much hate. Brother Wilfred saw his people were in need. Whoa, if an Irish football club in Glasgow could succeed, yeah, for the hungry poor this club could then provide. So we formed the Glasgow Celtic football side. Glasgow, our home, across the seas. Glasgow, our life, our sanctuary, with a hunger in our bellies and a spirit to be free. Glasgow, I am you, and you are me. Up the Irish shoot to Scotland's shores set sail. Many died, but the fortunate prevailed. Trying hard to break down this divide, so two nations could be joined by Celtic pride. Oh, Glasgow, our home, across the seas. Glasgow, our life, our sanctuary, with a hunger in our bellies and a spirit to be free. Glasgow, I am you, and you are me. Oh, Glasgow, I am you, and you are me. I've lost sound, Brendan. Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm back. I had turned off the microphone like an idiot. So yeah, I learn as I go. I'm just making the point there, Ciaran, that if you look at the comments coming up here, you know, there's lots of little shamrocks and love hearts and green. We've got Kelly Michelle in here from the United States, just loving that song. Anne Campbell, that's really good. Anne is over in Airdrie, actually. Which isn't too far from where you're singing about. That's an amazing song. Do you have that recorded, Ciaran?
No, not yet. No, not
okay.
yet.
I hope you do.
Yeah, no, I wrote that. It's I think about June, July of last year, and I've been sort of, you know, the way a song is sort of organic, and you just keep changing it. Yeah. But I'm sort of happy with it now, and I'll probably get it down. I've set up a new home recording studio here, so I'm sort of teaching myself here as I go along.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Come here, can I ask you, do you do any collaboration? Do you work when you're writing with other people, or is it strictly in your own head and doing, doing your own thing? What's your game there?
No, people send me songs all the time. It just depends on whether I'm passionate about it. Like, so I don't know
Yeah,
whether you know a gentleman called Thomas Goulding. Thomas
yeah, I've
is
heard the name. Yeah,
yeah, he's a he's a Dublin lad, but I think he's living in Tyrone. And Thomas sent me, Jesus, he must have sent me about 20 songs. And
wow,
there was two that struck a chord with me. One was called, well, at the time there was no name on it, but it was sort of
yeah,
it was about the Easter Rising, but it was through the eyes of a young girl. And the only other song that I really knew from the Easter Rising was Grace, or my dad wrote one about Margaret Skinner. So I sort of took that on, and then there
yeah.
was another one that he introduced images of uh, nature into Irish republicanism, and I sort of took that on, and so yeah, them two have just recently finished, so they're ready to go to be recorded as well. Very happy with them as well. One's
Okay,
called Images of Freedom, and the other one is called All of the Children.
great. Okay, well, that's good news. I think people here are going to look forward to hearing that when it's recorded and see what you do with it from a studio point of view. From my own perspective, I would say keep that as raw as you can, because it really does. For people that know that area of Scotland and the relationship with Ireland, it does hit the spot. It's really good, Ciaran. So
Yeah.
congratulations on that piece of writing,
Thank you.
and keep at it. I'll just say, I'll throw it out there. I'd love to at some stage maybe sit down and try to put something together with you as well, if that's ever possible down the road, because the longer these lockdowns go, the fuller my brain is becoming, and I need to get it
Absolutely.
out somehow. So hopefully we can re-engage on that sometime, right?
Yeah, that song you sent me yesterday was brilliant.
Oh, the Tomas McCurtain, thank you.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
That was written for a reason, Like
yeah,
I know you mentioned it, but I was watching the news one morning, and it was one of the party politics don't bother me, to be honest with you. I'll vote for the best fella locally, and that's basically the way I work it. But when I saw this idea that the government were going to commemorate the centenary of the RIC, knowing the stories that my grandparents who came from South Armagh and North Monaghan told me, I
yeah,
was just I'm going to keep my language nice now, but I says I'm going to get my retaliation in early here. So I wrote that song because it was a story that I knew so well. And
yeah,
then there was a guy down in I don't know if you know Miles Gaffney, Ciaran. He's a folk and ballad singer down in
yeah,
Cork.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And Miles got a hold of the song, and he did a job in it as well to actually mark the commemoration. I thought it was appropriate that a Cork man would.
Yeah.
And it's amazing the feedback I got off that song, actually, from
Yeah.
the people who heard it. It did touch a chord. We don't have to be marching around the place like an army to still hold that bit of resistance, and I think
Yeah.
that's, even in the time of peace, that's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah. So I suppose, Ciaran, we're spending a lot of time talking, which is all good. I think that I may have seen you getting onto a bus one time with a guitar in Dublin. Can you tell me what the hell is that all about? Hey?
Well, that's what that song is there behind me.
Yeah.
So just before the first lockdown came, I started my own business with two other people called the Bandwagon Bus, which is a ballad tour of Dublin. And that red-headed guy, no resemblance to Luke Kelly, by the way.
Yeah, not a bit. Like, is he playing a
he,
banjo by any chance?
he is, funny enough. So we call him the dude, and so the bus is a double-decker bus that goes around Dublin. We have a full PA, proper commercial PA in the bus. So the band are facing the crowd, looking down towards the bus. It's only on the top deck, and then we just go around all the individual sites, like down past the GPO, around by the Garden of Remembrance, over by Trinity College, up into Stephen's Green, and down up to Kilmainham and Guinness's and all that. And as we go past, we try and sing songs from that for that, like when we get up to Kilmaine and Jane, we do Grace, and we get to the park, we do zoological gardens, and we stop and get everybody gets off, gets photos and stuff like that. So great time, and that happened just as the lockdown was introduced. Well, we got out a couple of times there in between, like when the level dropped a bit. So and we got a great reaction to it, like, you know, this even on the streets of Dublin, like the smiles that were of people just dancing, and just because you can hear the music like as the bus is going past, because it's quite loud, like, you know.
I'd say it is. I have to say, Ciaran, like, it's a genius idea. It's like I'm also connected to a startup. I was trying to get an American tour business for the west of Ireland, the Wild Atlantic Way, off the ground, called Take Me Home Tours. And part of the idea was that we would involve different activities at night. It might be a traditional Irish night, or a ballad night, or Irish dancing, or maybe a poetry session, or whatever. And then I saw what you were doing, and I went, "Oh my God! Like, this man is a genius." It will take off once
judging by the reaction that we got off the first all the tours, like, and just to see the smile of people get off the bus, like, you know, and they're shaking hands, even kids, like, you know, and all. It was brilliant. I have to say, I really enjoyed the few gigs that we got out. It was just brilliant.
Yeah, there's a bit of a rumor, a family myth or folklore. I think it's true, actually, but I believe that my mother was like a third cousin to Luke Kelly as well, somewhere back there. You know yourself. So we were kind of brought up going, "Oh, there's your cousin now singing." So it's nice to see the picture of Luke there behind you, even though you're not claiming copyright on it or whatever, you know. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so if I was to ask you, Ciaran, what is your favorite Rebel song?
My favorite song, it's not, well, it is a Rebel song, I suppose, but it's not really like a high powered volume Rebel song. It's one that my dad wrote, and I love singing it. It's called Ireland I'm Free.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Do you have it in you? Is it in the jukebox there for us?
Yeah. It's this song, he wrote it, like, there's a little story behind it that not a lot of people know, but he met an old man. The Wolfhounds used to do a lot of old folks gigs back in the day, and they were, I think he was down in Kerry or somewhere like that, and he met a guy, and he had the medals from the fighting in the GPO, and he went around to his house and to see the medals, and there was only small bits of furniture, and it was a TV on a lemonade crate or something like that, you know, the old lemonade crate. And he was just going, this man fought for Ireland, and he's got, you know, very little, and that's how the song came about, I think.
Yeah. What's it called again, Ciaran? Sorry.
Ireland I'm Free.
Ireland I'm Free. Okay. So do you want to give it a blast there for us? Thank you.
I'll give it a blast.
I'll just say to people online here, if there's a bit of freezing or a bit of breaking up going on, it's probably to do with the fact that I've been thrown into the back kitchen here down in County Mayo. I'm a million miles from the internet, so apologies if there's any interference. But you know, I think it's, looking at the comments here, people are getting the gist of what's going on, and they're hearing Ciaran loud and clear. So thank you, Ciaran. Take that away, please.
Okay.
Cheers.
Thanks. In a dimly lit room by a smoldering fire sat an old man so lonely, so brave yet so tired. Once he struggled for freedom, now he struggles to live with his few small possessions and his past to relive. There's a faded old picture on the wall all alone, a dusty old picture, the pride of his home, with a harp and a shamrock with these words underneath: Ireland I'm free, shall never be at peace. And his thoughts wander back to the days of his prime. Oh, it seems now there's nothing goes faster than time. To his comrades of old he remembers the day when he marched behind Pierce and the bold IRA. There's a faded old picture on the wall all alone. A dusty old picture, the pride of his home, with a harp and a shamrock with these words underneath. Ireland I'm free, will never be happy. And it's to Easter week, and his thoughts wander back. Oh, the leaders of men no courage did lack. But now he's just left with those memories of old. And his name or his story will never be told. There's a faded old picture on the wall, all alone. A dusty old picture, the pride of his home, with a harp and a shamrock with these words underneath. Ireland I'm free, will never be happy. Then he gazed at the picture and he gave a sad smile, for each line and wrinkle told the passage of time. Then he gazed once again and his eyes filled with tears, for the man in that picture was his friend Padraig Pearse. There's a faded old picture on the wall, all alone. A dusty old picture, the pride of his home, with a harp and a shamrock with these words underneath. Ireland I'm free, will never be happy. Ireland I'm free, will never be happy.
All I can say is wow to that, Ciaran. I have to say your dad is nearly as good a songwriter as you are. That is absolutely outstanding stuff. I've just got a message in here from Paul Hogan. So I told you about Tom Hogan, who lives locally now. He's the guy that cheats with the Dublin and the Mayo flags a little bit. And Paul is saying that Tom would have played support with your dad on a few occasions in the old hitching post.
I remember the hitching post. It was there by Leaksliff, yeah.
Yeah, that's their territory. And you were saying Lucan, weren't you, I think? So
yeah, we
weren't far away. Yeah, so then Paul is jumping in again saying at the time it would have been Sarsfields, but Dublin Rogues was the name of the band. So if you're chatting to your people anytime soon, just see if they remember Tom. Tom has a cowboy moustache that comes down over his face. You know, he's one of them. He's a real memorable guy, so I'm sure they will remember him. We've got Sean Curlin in saying, brilliant, Brendan and Ciaran. And, wow, that's beautiful, just as Anne Campbell over in Airdrie. So, yeah, I know I'm taking up a lot of your time here now, Ciaran, and I really appreciate you coming on here. You're a great fella altogether now to do this for us. I never worry too much about the numbers live, because what tends to happen here is that when I share stuff out my page, then it gets seen by a couple of thousand people and you get the comments flying back. So anything I get overnight or tomorrow, I'm going to share that back with you as well, Ciaran, and make sure you get the feedback. The musical people of Ireland are great to take the time and sit down and watch. And I suppose now that we're in lockdown, what did we face 5 again for the 3rd time or the 4th time? This is a valuable resource, I think, for people just to help their heads. So on that, Ciaran, I'm working on a project with another friend of mine, a famous Dublin DJ. We'll say no more. We did a charity drive last year to buy a couple of ventilators for sub-Saharan Africa for Trócaire, because things were bad, and we managed to raise a few €1,000, and we did a good job. I think we hit our targets. We're going to do it again this year, probably in March, April time, probably March, to mark the anniversary of the first lockdown, in support of the Samaritans here locally. I had a conversation with a person, again, who'll remain anonymous, who's involved in that organisation a couple of weeks ago. And I was told that they're taking a call every 40-45 seconds at the moment, which is incredible, isn't it? It's really sad. And unfortunately, not everybody is getting met by the people they need to meet, over the phone or through treatment. So we're going to have a go at raising a few quid for the Samaritans now in a couple of weeks or months' time. So I'm hoping, Ciaran, if you don't mind, you might be able to help us out on that. There's a small ask. It'll take 15-20 minutes of your time, and I think the more the merrier. Yeah,
delighted there, Brendan. Absolutely delighted.
Yeah, you're an absolute gentleman. Absolute gentleman. Actually, that famous DJ has just gone in here. Not that famous, says Play Column King. He works on Charity Radio, which is it's a community/online radio station. Looks like I just tuned in time, he says. Oh yeah, Colin, always get in for the last word. So anyway, I'll introduce you if you don't already know each other later on or somewhere down the road, and we'll get you involved, Ciaran. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely no problem.
I'm going to give you the last 4 minutes here to say what you want to say and take it home. So over to you, Ciaran, up in Wicklow. Come on, Dublin.
I'm in Dublin.
I thought you were in Wicklow.
No, I'm living in Dublin. I'm in City West there by.
God almighty. I've been reading the wrong newspapers. The Wicklow Express, or whatever it's called, was claiming ownership of you a couple of weeks ago. Actually, it was a couple of years ago, but it was an old article. But it was the Wicklow something or other.
I know what that was. That was the Wicklow people.
It
was Tom Bone, I think, wrote that. Yeah.
But the headline was he's one of our own or something like that. I was going, what?
Yeah, but sure, you'd say anything to get in the papers.
Good man. All right, look, you've got 4 minutes. Do what you want there, boy. All right, and thank you.
Do you want me to do another song or what? Do you want me to do?
Yeah, whatever you want. A song, a poem, a dance.
I'm not going to do a dance, that's for sure. Okay, I'm going to do. Do you know what? I'll do one of the new ones that I did a collaboration with Thomas Goulding on, and Thomas sent this one to me. So it's called Images of Freedom. As I took the rambling just before the dawn, and I mused, the arrows now fallen and gone. Softly I whistled the bold Fenian man as I rode on the banks of the Royal Canal. When the sun broke the clouds just overhead, in the mist on the water I saw patriot dead. Gallant men who raised his country's morale as I rode on the banks of the Royal Canal. In that morning sky, I saw swallows soar, and I thought of the O'Reilly's last written words. Goodbye, darling, no mercy was he shown, and they watched him die in a doorway alone. In the glistening water, I saw fish swim free. Among the ripples, I saw brave James Connolly. A man of the people, there was none to compare, and the reward for his courage to be shot in a chair. Marveling at the scene where a heron proudly stood in a way, I imagined that Patrick Pearse would, when he summoned a nation on that Easter morn, to proclaim to its people a nation reborn. Then I spotted a lamb that stood all alone, and I thought of the fathers that never came home, and the tears that their children sadly had wept, and the widowed mothers left poor in neglect. The wind gently whispered, it filled up my ears. I heard voices of men that I held dear, and each one I thanked for all they had done. They sacrificed their lives so that freedom was won. But freedom's not freedom if not 32. If we stand as one, liberty wins true. One nation together, for all faiths to share, then united Ireland we can declare. Then united Ireland we can declare. Can't hear you, Brendan.
Yeah, I'm back on mute again. I'll never make a DJ like the great Colin King or Fiona Galt if I can't press the right buttons. But I was just saying, if not 32, what a line. Perfect. Sums up the whole story. Ciaran, I've got a few comments here again coming through. My own mammy, Elizabeth, brilliant show. I'm going to mention my mammy here now for a particular reason. Because when I was growing up, and I'm talking when I was 3, 4, 5 years of age, I'm 46 now, so I'm probably a lot older than you. But we had a collection of LPs even before the tapes came along, and they were stacked high: the Dubliners, the Furies, and a lot of the Wolf Tones. And I have to say, looking at your face, Ciaran, and I'm going to put your face back on here for everybody, you are the image. Do people tell you that of your outlook? I don't know is that a good thing or a bad thing, but you are. You know.
When I used to answer the phone at home, everyone would go, Brian. And I go, no.
Yeah, you sound like him as well. Even better again. Marty Yagi up there in Andersonstown. Patrick Gallagher, he's up beside I was going to say the Shank Hill, but it's actually the falls. He's looking in and just loving the show. People that'd be very familiar with your family music. Anne Campbell, been amazing. Thanks for all the stories. There's clappy hands. Kyle Clark in New York, just awesome. Ciaran, and awesome in big, big capital letters. I think, Ciaran, you have an awful lot you are already offering a lot, but you have an awful lot more to give as well, man. So give her Waski for 2021, please. And hopefully we'll have you back on here sometime as well if the opportunity arises, and if we're able, if we're here, if we're fitting well, you know. Fiona Galt is having a crack at Colin King. She's saying, but you're only an Irish DJ, you know. This is Scottish-Irish rivalry coming in. And I think when when all this lockdown is over, Ciaran, another thing that we're hoping to do somewhere down the line, a couple of years' time, is just pull a gig together somewhere, maybe over on the East Coast, around Dublin or whatever, and get a few heads in. Not a big stage production, but just sit down with guitars, banjos, fiddles, mandolins, and have the crack. You know,
wouldn't that be great?
It'd be a dream at the moment. Yeah, yeah, die for it. Fiona, if you're on, this is a bit of a private joke. I'm on the Hobgoblin. We just had a bottle of that. I was accusing the Scottish earlier of being related to English criminals and fairies, and she said no, they're actually hobgoblins. So there you go. Just before we go, Ciaran, are you in a hurry? Have you got 2 minutes to talk? No, you're nowhere to go. No, nothing to do.
I've an NCT tomorrow, and I can't wait.
Okay. Oh shit! Yeah.
Just to get out of the house.
Can I ask you what kind of guitar you're playing? I always have an interest in the instruments, you know.
Yeah, where's my camera?
There you go. Yeah, you're on a Gibson.
Yeah,
very fancy.
Gibson.
So you did sell a lot of tapes and cassettes when you were a young fella. So
no, do you know what? I think I have a guitar fetish. I've got about 15 now at this stage, or something like that. I go up to the attic and I find guitars are just gone up there. So I have to stop.
I have you by one there. I know I've got 16 of them, and it's not a good thing. but
I have
you have to have them.
4 banjos, mandolins, ukulele.
Well, I was going to ask you the other thing. I see a banjo behind you.
Yeah.
Do you play that?
Oh, I do. Yeah, I play banjo, mandolin, bit of mandolin, and a bit of ukulele. Yeah.
Could you give us a bang on the banjo there?
I would, but it's tune, but I dropped it last night.
Oh God!
And
in the pub?
No, and I have disconnected my 5th string. From it.
Okay, all right.
But
so it's a G banjo.
I can still play it without the 5th string, but it's not.
I just want to hear the sound of it. Is that a Deering by any chance, or
no? It's a Vega. It's actually, you know, my dad thought he was doing me. You know, I hope he doesn't watch this.
He will. I hope he does.
What he done was he swapped a. I lost me connection here.
You're grand.
He swapped the guitar with me, and at the time I had about 5 guitars, and he took the best guitar that I had, and so can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, thank you.
And so he was down at my house and he picked one out. So I went up to his house and then he put out a few banjos on the ground. He had a load of banjos.
Oh yeah.
And he said, so I said that one. He goes, no, you can't have that one. That's
that's the good one. Yeah.
I said, I didn't do that with you. That's not fair. And I went that one. He goes, no, you can't have that one. And I said, why are you putting them on the ground if I can't pick them? I said, you can have that one over there. And it was this one. And it was dirty and mucky and full of crap. And he'd got it over in Nashville in a pawn shop. He went into a pawn shop. He said, had they any long neck banjos? And the man had 3 upstairs, and I think he bought the 3 of them. And he got them down on the price to near nothing. So I cleaned this up, and inside, I don't know whether you're going to see it. Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Get that. Where's this? There's that little label down there, the orange label. Can you hear me?
I'm there.
Yeah. And that orange label says it's one of 1,000 banjos that was made by Pete Seeger for Pete Seeger.
Oh, hang on a second now. I have to jump in here. Is my mother on the screen here? If you are, can you give the phone to Dad and tell him to click that link? My dad plays a long neck G banjo. It's the Luke Kelly vintage. It's a 1964 Gibson, right? The machine head's tight as hell, and it sounds like it's a beauty. But the reason that Dad started playing the banjo was because of Pete Seeger.
Yeah.
So you're saying that banjo was made by Pete Seeger? Is that right?
It was made.
Or Farrell, that design?
No, it was the Vega company, Pete Seeger. It was designed by Pete Seeger, I think, is what it was.
Unbelievable.
So it's what, but there was only 1,000 of them made, and there's not 1,000 of them in existence now. They go for about $5,000 or $6,000 now.
Yeah, I think your dad gave you the wrong banjo there, Ciaran, and I hope you told him that.
It was filthy dirty. Like, I mean, like, you couldn't even read that label. It was just so caked in crap that it had obviously got into the banjo. And when I cleaned it off and I got it all sanded down and French polished or whatever you call it, and resprayed, and got it restrung and done. It sounds great now.
That's amazing. Just let us hear just a couple of chords out of it, if you don't mind.
It's probably out of tune now because I dropped it last night.
Well, if it is, there's no pressure on you. No pressure on you.
Oh,
we're all friends here now, you know.
It's weird trying playing without the fifth string.
I know, yeah. Unreal. That reminds me of Tommy Makem, to be honest with you. A lovely tone to that. So maybe the next time you come on, have it undropped and tuned up and ready to go, and we'll hear it. I just see that Colin King, like I said, the world famous DJ, he's inviting you onto his show whenever the lockdown is over. That's down in Walkinstown or beside there. It's a nice little studio. So you guys, you might be able to talk between yourselves later on. Kyle Clark is saying that I'm a comedian. I'm not sure what I said that was that funny now, to be honest with you. Maybe just trying to do this is funny. I don't know. And Anne Campbell loved the sound. So, right, we're going to wrap it up, Ciaran. I just, I've had such an interest in what you've been talking about, what you've been singing. I'm looking forward to hearing and seeing more of you. Do you have any live streams that you do yourself? I've seen the videos coming up, but do you do the live thing?
I try not to do live because it tends to at night the internet we sort of get a feed that everybody gets on. So even though it says you get so much gigabytes, you don't get it, and it just ends up with the thing freezing, and so it tends to annoy people, like, you know. So I tend to just record the video and then put it up. I did at the start, but myself and my dad are starting a podcast now. We started well, more for ourselves, because I was saying, like, he's written the book, his own book, like, you know, which you probably know, and it's all in his own words. And then, but there's only so much you can get in the book, and the book is heavy, like it's just, but there's not all the stories in it. Like, so when I'm sitting down with friends and we're having a pint with my dad, they'd be asking him questions, and I'm hearing stories that I've never heard before. So I said, rather than lose them stories, we should, you know, sit down, have a chat, and put it down and record them. So so we're gonna try it as a podcast and see, but it's to leave for the grandchildren, you know, more so, because he's getting on in the years, you know. You're gonna, Brendan, you're muted again.
I've been muted again. I know. People will be giving out about me. Look, I'll also ask you, maybe sometime when we get out of this, maybe I can bring my dad and you can bring your dad to a pub somewhere, and we can have just an old natter, you know, because I know my dad went and watched the Wolf Tones all over the place back in the day. He'd be a hero to my father, so, and my father's my hero, so you never know. Maybe we can do that sometime.
We have a session.
Yeah, well, a session of drink and then a session of music, and then I'd like to top off with a session of another session of drink. You know,
two banjos and two guitars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, can't go wrong. Ciaran, listen, if you don't mind as well, just stay in touch with me, just in terms of bouncing off each other on Facebook. I'll be keeping an eye on the stuff you're doing. I'll try to publicize the videos as they're coming out. If you get back to the studio, let me know. And obviously, touch base with Colin King. Get him as a friend there. You can see him here in the comments. I really recommend. He's such a knowledgeable guy when it comes to Irish music, and he's really promoting the best of both sides. So, and Campbell saying thank you very much. Maria Wilkinson enjoyed this, and Marty, great show tonight. So, yeah, final word to you, Ciaran. 30 seconds, and we're out of here.
Well, thanks everyone for the positive feedback. It's great to hear. So, and keep safe and keep positive.
Okay, Ciaran, thank you very much. You're an absolute gentleman, and it's been a real pleasure now tonight. So
thank you very much. Take care.
I'll get this shared, and you can share it away with your own friends later on.
Absolutely.
Once the video's down a little bit. Right. Okay, thank you. That was the brilliant Ciaran Warfield, an absolute legend as far as I'm concerned. As you know, yeah, he's embarrassed. He's kind of feeling a bit ashamed about it, but it's the truth. So that's the end of the first Writer's Block live video blog, if you like. Really appreciate the fact that Ciaran took the time to join us tonight. It's something that it's not the easiest thing to do in the world. You know, it takes a bit of time out of your day, and it's not that easy to be talking to strangers either. So well done to Ciaran, and thank you to everybody else here as well. I'm going to get off now for 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'm going to reboot on my phone rather than this computer or TV setup and sing a few tunes for you. So I'll be on for another hour. So stick with me if you're there in about 5-10 minutes. You've got time to go and make a cup of tea or have a quick shower, Colin, if that's what you need. Okay? Good luck.